Nobody is here so far. All right. Today I'll be talking about on how to become more fluent in speaking English. As we all know that English is an international language, right? In many of the countries, in most of the countries, English are taught as a subject. You all know there are two parts of the language, first part and second part. First part deals with some comprehensive skills and some writing parts, and the second part of the language deals with grammatical structures, writings as well. So English is more of a language and less of a subject, but in our schools and colleges English is taught as a subject, because without treating it as a subject, no one would care about it, no one would bother about it, and no one would really learn this language, because there are marks, and people and students and peoples of our country are taught to achieve 80 plus marks in their exams, and in that way they are taught. But this is a language, this is an international language. It is spoken all over the world, spoken in almost all the countries, more or less. But for business purpose, cross borders connections and communications are done with English. A Chinese customer may not understand what a Bangladeshi seller want to speak, may not understand the language of Bengalis, and the Bengali buyer may not understand the language of a Chinese seller. So there should be a intermediary mode of communication. There should be a common language between these two parties. So for that, English is required. And those who are living in third world countries, the countries who got independence from other countries and are not so much developed, the students of that countries are striving hard and trying hard to set off to abroad for their high studies, and for that they need to clear, they need to certify them, and they need to have certifications, English certifications of English proficiency. In some countries they prefer IELTS, English International English Language Testing System. Some prefer PT, Peterson test of English. Some sit for TOEFL, teaching of English as a foreign language, and some also go for other options, SAT, jury, and all that. But for language proficiency, English proficiency, these tests are commonly and universally accepted and gone through. So these tests require a good knowledge, a sound knowledge of English language, both in four parts: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. You have to speak well, you have to read well, you have to listen well, and you have to write well. And English proficiency certificate may help you avail a good scholarship, avail a quality scholarship in a first world country, in a developed country like Canada, USA, in the Europe, and some other countries as well. So this is a measure of your language proficiency. English is a language, and language, if you can communicate in English, then communication, your medium of teaching is ensured that you can continue the education, continue the learning, continue the degree, or pursue pursue the study in English. It proves that for higher studies you need to prove your proficiency in English. That's why you need to sit for IELTS, TOEFL, SAT, or PTE, not SAT, PTE. So that's all actually. And in our country, as I'm from Bangladesh, an Asian country, in South Asian country, from Bangladesh, there are lots of students who are trying to achieve a good band in IELTS test, in IELTS, to just set off or to set out for their higher studies to abroad. They're trying hard, they're slogging hard, they're working hard to ensure a good band in IELTS. And some of the students have started recently to take PTE exams as well. And there are some people who also, uh, it's a cliche, it's a cliche, uh, it's a specific segment of the students who take GRE at the same time they take TOEFL, because the format and structure of TOEFL is kind of similar with GRE. There are some similarities between these two tests of proficiency and aptitudes. That's why people also now prefer taking TOEFL exam, some prefer IELTS exam, some prefer PTE exam to achieve a good band for proving their language proficiency. Why do they do that? They do, or they sit for a language proficiency test for achieving a band to avail a scholarship abroad, because the country, university, or the committee does not easily give you the permission or easily give you a scholarship of worth $20,000 or 20,000 Australian dollars, US dollars, Canadian dollars, or uh, British pounds. All right, so they just don't give you the scholarship for not so easily. You have to prove your worth, you have to prove your skills, your proficiency in English, that you can communicate in English and you will face no difficulty starting there in their country. So that's why they take, and they want a language proficiency certificate. In our country, Bangladesh, IELTS is one of the, maybe not one of the, maybe the most popular, favorite English proficiency testing exam that most of our students take nowadays. This is most favorite, but there are some students who take TOEFL, and some students who want to achieve a good band, a good score of proficiency in English easily, simply, in a simpler way, in an easier way. They now prefer PTE, Peterson testing of English, because it is easier, it is less uh, difficult, and it is more facilitating than IELTS, because IELTS test has now become a complex one. But the syllabus is given, the format is very clear, very clearly stated, but still some students find it a bit harder than PTE, so they take PTE. But there are some high level students who sit for GRE, and they also venture into TOEFL, test of English as a foreign language. But generally in Bangladesh, people prefer taking IELTS examination. IELTS. This is a commonly taken English proficiency test in Bangladesh for the people, for the students of Bangladesh. That's it. So to achieve a good band in IELTS, one must know how to speak naturally. If the examiner, if the test taker realizes somehow that you are giving memorized answers, you are not brainstorming, you are not giving natural answers, you are not just digging down your mind to bring out the sentences, new words, new vocabularies, then probability of getting a bad score increases. you tend to score a bad score if you give memorized answer. Your answer should sound natural, like a native speaker. You should feel comfortable while talking, while giving the answers. And in speaking test, there are four modules, there are four parts in IELTS test. First one is speaking test, then comes reading test, writing and listening test. In speaking test, your speaking ability, capability is tested in three phases, in three parts, in three sections. What are they? The first one is your introduction, and some sort of personal inquiries, and then begins the, what should I say, the attractive, the most important part of IELTS speaking test, cue cards. They give you paper, they give you a pencil, and they give you a topic, and you need to write down or take notes of the salient or chief points of your topic, and then they ask you to say or speak about the topic. Maybe it could be about a place, a destination, tourist destination. It could be about a place that you recently visited. It could be about something very common. It could be about your personal likings, preferences, or whatever. But whenever they ask you to speak or discuss a matter, you need to discuss it as much naturally as you can, because natural speaking style, natural speakers get higher band. And then comes the last part of speaking test, the follow up or discussion session or parts. There you the examiner starts a discussion, a follow-up discussions about the cue cards, the topic that they gave you, and took note on, about the topic they gave you just now. So the follow-up discussions also include tricky questions. They trick you to prove yourself whether you can speak naturally or not, whether you are giving memorized answers or not, whether you can use a wide range of vocabularies or not, whether you can use advanced vocabularies or not. So they test you, and they also check the grammatical mistakes, grammatical errors, the grammatical structures. You need to be careful of grammatical structures as well, because a wrong sentence which is grammatically wrong will not be accepted by them, because it's an English testing system. You need to be 100% on track in terms of grammar. Your grammar structure should be 100% correct. At least try to make it as much correct as you can. So then they will check whether you can use modern phrases and idioms or not. Using phrases and idioms levels up your speaking, levels up the quality of your speaking. An advanced speaker uses phrases and idioms off and on every now and then at the interval of their speaking. They will check it as well. And what they will see at your speaking test is how comfortably and naturally you are giving the answers and comprehending the questions. They will ask you question in native accent. They will check whether you can catch the accents, catch the sentence pattern, or catch the bottom line of the question or not. They will check it. So you have to be good at listening and speaking at the same time to score a good band in IELTS speaking test. And then comes the hardest part of IELTS testing. The hardest part of IELTS is reading test. There are hordes of questions patterns from where you can be given a question to answer in reading test. There could be a topic selection, there could be true false, not given. There could be matching headlines, and there could be something else. You have to be very very careful at reading test. To improve your reading, you can read uh, different comprehensions, different passages, different extracts of different topics, so that you can easily comprehend or understand what the passage is trying to say, what it is, what is given in the text, what is not, what is true, what is false, because there will be some questions regarding true, false, and not given. And then comes choosing matching headlines, which could be good fitting headlines of the passage. There will be 4 or 5 options, and you have to pick one, and it has to be correct. And then there are some other criteria to check your reading skill. And then comes listening part. You will hear an audio which will be in native accent. You need to catch the native accents. You need to catch the time, the place, the whereabouts, the turns, the directions, and all of that to score a good score on IELTS listening. And then comes writing part. You need to write. You need to give a solid understanding in a written form of the chart, of any chart which will be given to you in your writing test. So your writing must be unique. You need to be using unique style of writing, unique style of starting your writing, unique style of initiating your writing, and then keeping the flow of the writing as it should. You have to maintain grammar, you have to maintain the data accuracy, you have to maintain the data flow, you have to maintain the mm flow accuracy, and all that you have to maintain. Otherwise you will not be doing good at IELTS writing test. So these four skills are tested in IELTS. So you have to be taking preparations individually to score well, to score up an overall band in IELTS. So you need to read regularly, you need to speak regularly, you need to write at least one page every day regularly, and you need to listen to English podcasts, English news, English movies. You need to just hear the native speakers speak. So all these things will help you build a good habit of speaking, a good habit of listening to English and understanding what the speaker, what the sounds are trying to say. So you can catch up, you can catch the every little things there, which is what you need to understand, which is what, and you need to just catch what is the bottom line, what is the main point of the speaking, what is he or she trying to speak about, all these. And at last but not the least, don't quit reading, because reading at the same time improves your speaking. Reading aloud at the same time helps you understand listening English. Reading at the same time helps you improve your reading skill. And reading at the same time, reading writing soon after reading helps you form a good habit of writing a good English. So reading is the mother of learning. Reading is the mother of all learning. If you don't read, you won't learn anything. And if you don't speak, you can never improve your English speaking skill. So, but only by reading you can cover up all the skills. And to achieve excellence, to ensure excellence, you need to speak, you need to listen, you need to write. But reading is the mother of learning. So my last message, of course last but not the least, that never quit reading. At least try to read one page every day of your interest. A student of high school or colleges or universities, they are bound to read, they are having to read, but apart from this academic practice, apart from this academic reading, try to read at least one page of your own interest that interests you. You can, it could be a storybook, it could be a newspaper, it could be anything, but at least one page every day. Then 1 year gives you a reading, a finishing of reading 365 pages, and these will multiply your skill at an exponential rate. So never quit reading. This is my request, this is my recommendation, this is my suggestion, this is my advice, whatever you call it. Okay, thank you very much. And always try to speak in English, always try to read in English, always try to write in English, and always try to listen English. For those who are planning to take IELTS, for those who are trying to learn speaking, reading, writing, and listening English, and for those who want to learn the language. Thank you very much. And Sakib Ahmed said, "Dear sir," Sakib, are you my student, Sakib? My student, you were in my two batches, basic batch and then advanced batch. Sakib Ahmed from Chapai Nawabganj, most probably, Rajshahi. And then Jayed Hassan, nice brother, thank you, brother. My brother Ismail Hussain, lovely sir, thank you. You're also lovely. Your comment also feels and seems lovely to me. Thank you very much, everyone. Keep me in your prayer. I'll also keep you in my prayer. Thank you very much. Keep learning. Never stop learning. Allah Hafiz.